We're joined now by political commentator Nathaniel Ogunniyi. Thank you for joining us, Nathaniel. You were listening into that interview there with Sir Keir Starmer. Something that really leapt out is this proposition of votes for 16-year-olds. I wonder what your take is on that. We don't trust 16-year-olds to drive. We don't trust them to drink. They can't smoke, and yet suddenly they can be trusted to vote. Why do you think Sir Keir Starmer is doing this?
Well, it's a bait grab from Keir Starmer. It's nothing more than that. When you look at the biggest issues facing this country, I'm not sure votes at 16 is, top of the list. And then you contrast that with sort of what the Conservative announcements have been over the last few days. National service, which I think, if depending on how you do it, 70% of people sort of back. And Friday, talking about energy, the energy price has come down by just over £100, which is really important for people.
But the votes for 16-year-olds will leap out. That hasn't ever been done in Britain before. A lot of people just think this is the way of getting the system to favour those at the liberal end of the spectrum. The liberal politics of teenagers is more likely to benefit the Labour Party. Is this, in a sense, balancing or even rigging the electorate to directly favour the party that brings the new rule in?
It is. And of course, Keir Starmer can see that 16-year-olds are more likely to back him perhaps than they are to vote Conservative. Although actually a lot of 16-year-olds will probably know that since Keir Starmer's become leader, lots of the pledges that he made back in 2021 have since been junked. He talked about free tuition fees, which I'm sure a lot of 16-year-olds would be interested, but he's now junked that policy along with lots of others. And so I think perhaps the 16-year-olds will be able to see that Keir Starmer's all he's talked up to be.
And also in that interview there with Catherine Forster, Sir Keir Starmer saying that the Labour Party pledges to take the small boats crisis seriously. Do you think the voters can take that seriously? After all, it wasn't that long ago we saw one of their ministers, Yvette Cooper, holding up a sign that said "Refugees welcome." Can the Labour Party be trusted to control our borders?
No, you're right. Yvette was caught with that. Labour can't be trusted with our borders. Labour can't be trusted with our security more broadly. Starmer made a big speech earlier today talking about security, but it was thin on content. Whereas you look at the Conservative Party recently, there's the move for defence spending to 55 billion, which is the highest level it's ever been. You have Johnny Mercer, who's the Veterans Minister, pledging 70 million for veterans, whether that's on mental health or on skills or helping them get into good jobs. So you see lots of concrete pledges from the Conservative Party when it comes to security and when it comes to defence. I'm sure the Prime Minister is a bit disappointed that he may not get his flights off before the election. But the Conservative Party, you see them making lots of pledges on defence. Starmer made a big speech, but there wasn't very much content in it.
OK, we have to leave it there. Thanks for joining us, political commentator Nathaniel Ogunniyi. Thank you very much for joining us on the show, and have a cracking bank holiday.